So here we have the VCF 74 from vintage Synth Lab. It's a high pass into a low pass filter. We've got resonance control for each. We can boost the high pass into the low pass, have an input with level, output with level, low pass cutoff frequency and high pass cutoff frequency, both with CV attenuators, and CV over low pass and high pass resonance, and these become attenuators, effectively setting the maximum level that resonance can go to without little mini pot attenuators. So let's check it out. So here's a saw wave into the oscilloscope and then into the filter. And I'm going to patch it back out of the filter, turn these down into the scope. Knock the resonance down. So if you wanted to check out the waveforms, you can see on the data that that's the filter and the bottom is my input. So it is low pass, no resonance. We'll increasingly add some resonance. It's really nice and musical, as you'll see later in a patch. Let's back off the input level and check out a filter sweep with resonance around half. Less input. You can see on that scope and here as well we're getting a different response. Let's go full input level. Nice and driven. Just looking at the scope, you can see how, although overall levels change there, various input levels drive and actually wave shape that saw wave coming in. You can push that further, boost in the high pass, extra bit of level. Let's leave the low pass open, check out a high pass sweep. And again, we'll try that with different input levels. Boost into the low. And we can set these really nice throaty sort of sounds like we've got there with a nice resonant high pass. And create a more narrow band by dropping the low pass as well. Let's set a sequence going and just check this out in action. So starting the sequence, I'm going to open up the amount of CV modulation with my envelope on the low pass cutoff. Use the accent from my sequence to just push up that high pass on certain steps for a little added accent. Start the attenuator all the way down. Let's add another accent to the sequence. Change the sound with that input level again. Let's take the boost off. So that's the features and the basic sound. Let's get into some more modulation and some more patches. So I've still got the saw wave patched in, and it's still this bottom signal on the data from Mordax, and the top signal is the cutoff. Let's check out some audio rate modulation, and the VCF 74 is great, pulls out all sorts of really gnarly harmonics and responds really well to audio rate modulation. So I've got octave switches and a tune on the oscillator that I'm going to use for modulation. So let's plug in some modulation. Sweep the tune in. I'm going to take this oscillator up an octave. This is the modulating oscillator. As you can see, the input isn't changing. Again, let's go up another octave. Let's add some resonance. And you can tune in and find these really nice fat sweet spots. Let's go up another octave. So we need something quite harmonious there. Let's add a pitch sequence to the modulator. Notice the input isn't going to change. Let's drop this an octave. Let's use those new tones that's created and actually use the next filter, which again is another VCF 74, to shape those new tones. So I'm plugging the output of the left one into the right one, and here's the sound. Let's add an envelope to this right hand VCF 74. So loads of tones to be had. Let's push this modulation even higher. Let's go back to our left one. Just going to remove the sequence from that, go up another octave. And again, another octave. Let's add the sequence again. Let's remove the modulation, and again, here was the input, just a saw wave, and let's modulate the high pass, see how that responds. Opening the low pass, resonance off, let's get rid of the boost. Let's get rid of the sequence from the modulator, go down a couple of octaves. Again, let's add the sequence to our modulator. I'm getting this sort of break up as that modulation tries to push these pitches of that modulation through. Let's take that from the right hand one, add our signal from the first VCF 74 to the second. Some modulation going again. This. Let's move on to some patches, making use of those resonance CV inputs. So, basic patch setup, we're going to look at accenting the resonance with the accent, moving the high pass, creating a sort of phaser-like sound, and then just an envelope into the low pass. So here's the sound. Using a shark fin wave as opposed to a saw. Again, both filters sound great. I'm going to get some envelope modulation into the low pass cutoff. Let's just sort of cancel that out and open it up and listen to the LFO we're putting into the high pass. Really rich sound, really sort of searing, tearing type high pass, even without the resonance. That sounds great. So let's drop the low pass, bring up some envelope modulation. I'm going to add an accent to the resonance input. This is for the high pass. So turning up the high pass will set the maximum resonance. So when this accent hits, it will fire up to the resonance value and be back down without. Let's try that in the low pass. Drop the highs resonance. Let's push the input to full. Clean this right up. Low input, no res, no boost. Nice resonant, sort of phasery sounds. If you mix these in with the original sound, you'd have a sort of custom bandpass notchy type phaser sound, playing around with inverting the sound against the input. So let's check this out, filtering some drums. And I've got the Korg Volca Beats for some quirky little drums. Here's the dry sound. It's going into the scope and we're just coming straight back out again after boosting the signal up. So here's what I'm going to be inputting into the filter in a minute. So let's take this into another channel on the scope and into the filter. Let's drop the input down and we'll listen to that saturation on the input stage first. As you can hear straight away, that low end's got a bit more character. Nice bit of drive. I've also got the clock sync triggering an envelope, so let's get that into the filter for some sort of envelope follower type stuff. Let's try that in the high pass. to low. Let's check out some audio rate modulation of the high pass. Go for a triangle wave. Hit like and subscribe for more videos every week, and check the Patreon link below to see how you can support my channel.